Emily from Novell Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my wrap up part 1. I'm going to be breaking it down into 2 wrap ups a month purely so that I can have more time to talk about the books that I love and the books that I've not so much loved. So it's going to mean that I can break things down, talk about them more and put less pressure on myself. I'm going to also try and record 2 videos a week but on different days and try and upload and schedule. Just a little hints for everyone out there. It breaks things down and to me it's going to work with my physical and mental health, which is something, as you guys well know, I need to look after. So I'm not going to ramble on this video. This is my 3rd attempt at recording. So I'm going to get down and talk about the books that I'm reading. Now I am reading a lot more non-fiction books than I thought I would. And actually some of them have surprised me and been really good. And others I've been a little bit disappointed in. Now the first book that I rated is my book that I've DNF'd, which was On the Other Side by Carrie Hope Fletcher. I purely and simply didn't realise that I've already read it before. Borrowed it off Charlie, thought I really like the look of this, only to realise that I read it before the old BookTube days and before I had a Goodreads account and I hadn't remembered it. Read a few pages, realised I'd read it, checked the end, definitely read it. Don't need to reread it. Now there are some books that obviously I would like to reread purely because I've either not grasped them or they're non-fiction. I wanted to read them more because I do read quite fast. But this one wasn't necessarily one I wanted to reread, so I didn't. I've got to learn that. I've got to learn to DNF a bit better. This month already I wish I would have DNF'd a few books. But should we start with the star ratings now as well? This one is 2 stars. And I'm sorry, Charlie, I really wanted to like this book. It's a Jen Campbell poetry book. Charlie loves this lady's work and I wanted to understand it. I used to write poetry and I'm gutted that I didn't understand this and I didn't grasp it. But it could be because of the state I'm in at the moment and my mental health. But yeah, I didn't really enjoy this. Didn't understand many of them. Read them, but it wasn't really like going in. And I feel that for poetry it needs to really be absorbed into me. I almost don't feel like I'm qualified to rate it because I don't think I read it well enough to rate it. So I'm sorry about that. Now the next one was my first one of my non-fiction books, The Secret Life of Bletchley Park. I have 2 books on Bletchley Park. One is fiction, this one is non-fiction. Couldn't remember which one. I'm going to read the fiction one, but this one I found really hard. The subject matter is amazing. What the people at Bletchley Park did is amazing. They really had such a big part in us winning the war. But I found it hard, really, really hard. Because I was born in Buckinghamshire, I like the setting bits of it. I thought, oh, I know that area. I was born there. Proud to be a Buckinghamshire girl. But, yeah, it just wasn't gripping enough for me. The writing just didn't keep me in. But, again, that could be because of where I am. The romance side of it is good. The chick lit bit, I could understand the romance. It's lovely to hear the positive things about what happened there. But the people that worked there, they put in such long hours. Some of the leaders of the Bletchley Park, what they did is amazing. The intelligence that they were, what they had to do. In some ways, they just, oh my goodness, it's amazing. And I will never detract from that. So even though, yes, it is a 2-star book, it doesn't detract from what happened there and what it was. I don't necessarily think I'm going to pick up another one of this author's work because I didn't necessarily think his writing was for me. That's not, like I said, nothing negative, but it's just not for me. And I found it a really slug to get through it. But I pushed myself because of the subject matter. And especially at the time, like I said, the time I'm filming this is the week that we had Remembrance Day. And I think a lot of what happened in that war is sad and bad. But we need to remember what our predecessors did to save our lives. And that to me is important. So definitely think looking up books on this would be interesting, but not necessarily this one. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. Now the next one, I'm gutted I rated it 3 stars. It's a Red Queen by Philippa Gregory. I've rated most of her books 4 or 5 stars, but this one I didn't get into it. I didn't like it as much as I'd like the others. I read The White Queen, which is one before that, and that was on Elizabeth Woodville, and I liked the writing on that. I found her story really, really interesting. Yes, this is fictional, so not all of the stuff that's in this is real, but it's based a lot on the real things. Margaret Beaufort's story, this is her story. She was someone who, at the start of this, she believed she was something. She really believed in the Joan of Arc theory, and that she believed she was imparted by Joan of Arc to say that she was going to have a son, or she was going to have someone that was going to be the king of England, king or queen of England. She really believed that. She believed that was her part, and she fought for that. And she went through two or three husbands, I believe. Not necessarily going to tell you what order, but she went through a lot. There was a lot of triggers for child abuse, for rape, because we know what happened to those people in there. And the story about what happened when she was giving birth, that was really hard hitting. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to tell you because obviously I don't give spoilers, but that was really hard. But I found the writing on this wasn't really as interesting. I don't know if it's not interesting, but it wasn't as gripping. It just wasn't for me. And even though my mum gave me this book and it's beautiful, I don't know whether I'm going to keep it or not. Because even though I love the series, this was probably my least favourite so far. I do think I need to read the first book in the series because I haven't read it in the right order. So I'm going to read the first book in the series, and I might keep it purely for that, but it might be one that's kept to one side to see how I do on the first book and see if that all connects it a bit better, because this one wasn't for me, and I'm really sorry. I wanted to like this. Now we're going to the 4-star rating books. Another one, the next two are non-fiction. The Dog Year. This is by John Katz. It's a beautiful book. My lovely friend, my mum's friend Margaret, who's another mummy figure to me, she gave me this book. I think I read it a bit too close to Marley and Me because it's very similar, if you think. But this is all about a year. So in a year, this guy, John Katz, for starters, he meets the most gorgeous dog. He's got this beautiful dog. But he starts off with a couple of dogs and he goes through a few. And I'm not going to tell you exactly how many, but this is a year in his life with dogs. And he has different characters, and dogs are like any pets and any person, they are very different. And this is how he deals with all of these different characters, and how it implies with his family and his work. It's a good book. 4 stars, definitely good. And I think someone else is going to love this, so I am going to give this away. But apparently he's written loads of other books, and I do think I'm going to look for them because I've heard he's a really good writer. So I'm quite intrigued. Good book, definitely good. Just not going to read too many doggy books all close together. Mainly because I'm a cat person as well. As you well know, I'm a cat person. Now the next one, it may be 4 stars, but it's because it's non-fiction, but it's beautiful! I love it. 4/4.5, I think. This is the story of Queen Victoria by Lucy Worsley. It's a non-fiction book. It was my first of the month. I read it for Cozy Reading Night with Lauren and the books, and it's beautiful. It's got pictures. This is the real tellings of Queen Victoria and what she... And this goes really back to basics. I found out stuff in here that I didn't even know about Queen Victoria. This era is, to me, one of my favourite eras now. It's rapidly getting close to beating the Tudor era. So when you've just read Victorian books, I wanted to read about the lady who ran this era. She was the lady that ruled the country at that time, and she saw so many changes in her life. And she went through more than you could ever imagine. And I admire this lady. She was incredible. She not necessarily didn't do everything the way I would have done things, but you know what? I still think she was amazing, and it's lovely to hear a lot more about her. I want to read a bit more about her children. So, guys, if you know any books about the Victorian family, her family, I would love to know more about her descendants. So, if you guys know of any books on that, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to know what other books related to this that you could find or that you know about that you could tell me about. Definitely want to pick up more Lucy Worsley books. I love this book. It was one I've wanted to read for so long. So really glad I read that. Now the next one is 4.5 stars. That is The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. It's actually my least favourite in the series, of the Narnia series. It probably would have liked it more if I hadn't seen the film, so I hadn't have compared it so much. But this detracts so much from the film. I found myself so lost because I thought I knew where I was going, and I was just going from here, there and everywhere. It did get better towards the end, and there were some bits that I loved, and there were some times when I really, really was in, but it lost 0.5 star because it was so different and because I did get lost quite a bit. I loved the story. This is Lucy and Edward's last time in Narnia, which to me is quite sad, and Narnia and Edmund's first time, and Edmund changes in this, and I love that. I love hearing his little story because I think Narnia changes every single character in. So it's really, really good. Looking forward to the next book in the series. I'm not going to read it till January because December is my last Harry Potter book of the series. And that's what I'm going to do. My children's book in December is purely going to be dedicated to Harry Potter. So that's a little sneaky preview as my next TBR. But yeah, I'll be reading the next in the series in January, and that's the first one that's not got a film. So I'm looking forward to seeing how I compare to that, and whether Edmund's in it and what happens. I'm really excited. But yeah. Now the next one's the last Page Toon, but no more new Page Toon books. I thought I'd read all of the series, but I haven't. Found this in a charity shop and went, I haven't read that. This is the one we fell in love with. It's a story, I can safely say it's a story of triplets. Phoebe, Eliza and Rose. So every chapter is broken down with their stories. They're very different. Phoebe is quite a strong character, very strong, and knows what she wants out of all the girls and goes out and does things. And she, at the start of this, she's going on her sort of hen time to the Alps, and you find out. And they all have all three of the girls have one man in common, one man that they've all loved or thought they've loved. The next one is Eliza. She is the rebel. She's the rock chick rebel. She lives at home, but she's kind of rock chick, kind of individual, gutsy. She's brilliant. I loved Eliza. She's kind of my one. Even though she's not the one, the probably least one to like being like me, I still loved her. And then you got Rose. She's out of a job. She's out of a boyfriend. To make matters worse, she's been forced to move in with her mum. She's the homebody, the one that cooks, the one that cares and looks after everyone. But actually, she's kind of got the nastiest side, if anything, out of all three of them I discovered. But you understand why when you read it. You understand how they're all, even though they're triplets, they're very different. There is some twists and turns in this that I wasn't expecting. It's not my favourite out of the Page Toon books, if I'm being honest. So I'm not sure whether, again, I'm going to keep it, even though it is Page Toon and I love her work. It's probably my least favourite. But there are some real twists and turns at the end where I was literally on the edge of my seat, like gulping, thinking, oh my God, what the hell's happened? Page Toon doesn't disappoint. She's an amazing author. And I'm glad I read this. And I look forward to it. Apparently she's got another book coming out next year. Yes! Another one, Chris. I'm going to be pre-ordering it. My other half is going to be fed up with me pre-ordering books. Now the next one is probably, I think so far it's my favourite book of the month. The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. I love this. I buddy read it with the gorgeous Simone, who I love to pieces. We hadn't buddy read in ages, and we were like, the first one buddy reading again together, and she was like, let's do this one. She bought me this one. I'm keeping this one. OMG. I have to reread this because there are a lot of characters in this. And at times I was a bit like, where am I going? But J.K. Rowling, she's imparts them all together so well. She knits the characters in such a way that you wouldn't believe how different they are. And I think some authors can't knit together loads of strong characters and loads of lead characters, but she has. You tell it's her writing because of the way she knits the characters, the way she does the chapters, the way she breaks up the story. That's definitely J.K. Rowling style. But don't expect the content to be anything like Harry Potter because it's different. There's hard-hitting. There is more trigger warnings than I can shake my finger at. There is self-harm. There is rape. There is alcoholism, abuse, mental health issues. There is more than you could ever fit in, that you would believe you could fit in a book. Yes, it's a big book. And as long as you go into this aware it's nothing like Harry Potter, you won't be disappointed. I will never, ever doubt her work. I'm now tempted to read some of her Robert Galbraith books, which is the books she's written in a pseudonym, because I think that if I've loved this, I'm going to give her other books a go. I hope she writes more books like this. She is an amazing author. She needs to remember she's got that gift, and I can't wait to pick up more of her work. This is one of the best books ever. I love this book. It's very close to going on my top 10 books of the year. It really is. Now, I'm going to briefly tell you the books that I'm reading at the moment, and then I'll be signing off today. I'm just about halfway through this, The Handmaid's Tale. I can't believe I've not read this yet. It is OMG. I am over the moon. I will obviously tell you more about it in my wrap up. I've not even finished it. I'm halfway through. I'm buddy reading it with Linda, and it is amazing. Yes, it's hard hitting. Yes, it's tackling some stuff where you're literally like, oh my goodness, what a dystopic world, what a world our world could turn into. But it's beautifully written. She has got an amazing way. I am definitely picking up more of Margaret Atwood's books, and I am not sure. Me and Charlie are having a debate. Do I pick up the Testaments for now, or do I wait until it goes into paperback? This is that good. I have to pick up more of Margaret Atwood's books, and I can't wait to tell you more about the book in my next wrap-up. The next one's my disappointing one. Us by David Nichols. you can see I'm not doing very well on it. I'm really struggling. I will read it. I will try and finish it this weekend if I can. I really need to get it read, purely simply because I want it over and done with, not enjoying it. I've just realised I didn't tell you about one of the books, my audiobook that I read this month and listened to an audiobook on my library book. That was Goodnight from London. I can't tell you the author because I can't remember it. It is beautiful. It's an audiobook. It got 5 stars. It was probably one of the best audiobooks I've ever listened to. And again, it's an amazing book. It's about a journalist who is in London. She is an American, sent to London. Obviously, she, female, sent over there. She doesn't have any family in America, so they think she's the best person to go over and report from London. And yes, it's fiction, but it's beautiful. It is. I very rarely enjoy audiobooks as much as I enjoyed that. But guys, check it out. It's beautiful, and I am definitely going to look up more of the author's work. I will try and write her name if I can in the comments below. But it's beautiful. Wartime was horrible, and what they went through was, oh my goodness. You know, you think our past is what creates us, but to hear about the bombings, but to hear mainly how it affected the people and the stories that happened there. They may be fictional, but a lot of them happened, probably did happen. And it's beautifully written. The characters are gorgeous, so definitely recommend that. I'm also currently, that I've not got on me, I'm listening to The Five by Hallie Rubenstall. This is the story of the Jack the Ripper's 5 victims, and I'm just started that on audiobook today. Charlie reckons it's going to be amazing. Looking forward to it. Yes, I'm prepared that's going to be hard hitting. And finally, the last book that I'm currently reading is The Snowman. But this is Michael Mapungo is retelling the original story, so that's quite interesting. Mia's read it. She borrowed it from the library, and she told me I'm going to love it, so that's going to be good. But that's it for today. Not as long as normal, only just, but I hope you liked it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed, ring on my ding-a-ling. And thank you all, by the way, guys. I hit 300 subscribers. Currently, I'm on about 320-ish when this goes out. So thank you. I'm so happy to feel loved on this bite. To feel loved on here is just the best. So you're all gorgeous. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.